James Luxon, Pro Boxing fans. Delighted to be joined once again with Caleb Plant on Zoom today. Caleb, how are we doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Fantastic. Let's talk about, obviously, the big news. Obviously, Canelo, we're looking at that for September. Let's just recap, first of all, on the Billy Joe Saunders fight. First of all, how did you feel Billy Joe Saunders did in the fight, really?
I felt like he was doing good. I think the ending to the fight, kind of masked some of the success that he was having before that happened. I gave him the first round, but that was more so because Canelo wasn't doing too much, and Canelo started to take over a few rounds, and but Billy started settling in, and I felt like he started dictating the pace, and kind of deciding what was happening, and but then he ran into a shot, and at the end I had it 5-3, and when that's one away from being tied up, it's not too bad.
Absolutely. I had it exactly the same 5-3 as well
As
after that.
far as what he's got going on, you feel what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I mean, in terms of, obviously, the aftermath, the reaction, the whole situation in the corner, there was, I don't know if you've seen it, there's a lot of talk about the trainers and the second who pulled Billy Joe out, things like that. Did Billy Joe quit? What are your thoughts on that side of things?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's easy to be like, oh, he quit, but you know, I knew not to speak too soon or nothing like that because, I seen it was a Zai, and there could have been a possibility that he had a broken orbital bone, and then turns out that he did. Supposedly he wanted to keep going, but his corner, didn't want him to, and I don't know. That's between that don't have nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? That's between them and their team and whatever they need to do. So if his corner felt like they made the right call, then that's on them.
Absolutely. You mentioned you felt he gave a good account of himself. You mentioned as he did have a few rounds picked up throughout that 5-3. You scored it there up to round 8. In terms of Billy Joe, there's been a lot of comparisons between the two of you. You did recently come out on PBC podcast and say you feel you are better than him in every department. What do you feel that you can do differently in that to win more rounds than Billy Joe did, for example?
I mean, nothing specific. I just got to go out there and be myself. The reason that I'm in this position in the first place is because I've been myself. And that's what I do best. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna be myself, and I know that I hold. It's no knock on Billy. It's nothing against him, but I'm a dedicated fighter. I stay in the gym year round. I live a good life. I live a clean life. I do everything to the T. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it takes to be great and to achieve greatness. Not only in this sport but anything in life. It's not just about the big things that you do. It's about the little things that you do. And a lot of times in boxing, it's not just about what you do, but it's about what you don't do. There's a lot of things out there that, you don't want to involve yourself in. That way you can achieve that greatness. And I live by that.
So I want to talk about as well. So since the Billy Joe fight with Canelo, we've sort of said it's going to be Caleb Plant next. It's going to be undisputed, looking at September. Now, we've put a lot of posts around this fight, around yourself, and obviously your quotes from the PBC podcast onto our channel. And a lot of the comments, 99% of them, are feeling that Canelo will beat you as well. Do you feel going into this as the underdog, does that take any pressure off you at all?
I don't really, I was an underdog when I won the world title. And, then I had my world title defense like everybody else gets, a voluntary. And then I did my mandatory, and then I did a mandatory back to back. That way I wouldn't have one coming up later in the year. That way we could get a big fight. And, I don't really look at it any differently. Like, is there more pressure or less pressure if I'm the underdog or whatever? I put as much pressure on myself regardless, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that I'm doing all those things that we talked about shortly ago, and to just make sure that I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to. But, as far as pressure, feeling more pressure because I'm the underdog or anything like that, I feel like I do best when I'm in that situation and in that position. I feel like I really rise to the occasion when there's a big crowd out there. Whether they're booing, whether they're cheering, it's all energy at the end of the night. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing.
Do you prefer the underdog tag?
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I've been that basically my whole life, and again, like I said, I feel like I perform best when I'm in that position.
So we mentioned last time we spoke, it'd be looking at the first 4-belt undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. Just recap again for us now. Just how much would that mean to you to win all the belts?
Just would mean a lot. You know what I'm saying? I've dedicated my life to this sport. I've sacrificed a lot of things for this sport. And, I've studied this sport inside and out. You know what I'm saying? I love this sport. I got a lot of respect for it. And, anybody who starts boxing and takes it serious, that's the goal is to become an undisputed world champion and, to be on the pound for pound list. So, uh, to get all those done in one night, you know what I'm saying? That's a big deal.
Absolutely. I know we're on a bit of a time limit, so we've got a couple more minutes with yourself. So quick fire, a few questions. First of all, Fox or the Zone, whatever platform it is, does that bother you?
Um, I mean, I don't know. I've to be honest, I've yet to be in a big fight like this. You know what I'm saying? I've been in tough fights. I wouldn't say tough because they weren't that close, but as far as like being the underdog against Jose Uzcategui and winning the world title, that wasn't close, but that wasn't a fight of this magnitude, is what I'm saying. And so, I don't know about all the ins and outs of that stuff, but it seems like it would make more sense to do it on pay per view, considering not just the the amount of money that I would make, but he would make even more than me as far as percentages on a pay per view split. So you know it just from the seat that I'm sitting in, it seems like it would make a lot more sense. And I feel like anybody else in my seat would be wondering the same thing. Why would you want to do anything other than that, especially if you're not signed to anybody and your deal's up with Eddie and you can move how you please. What would be the reason that you wouldn't want to do that?
Absolutely. Okay, I'll let you go now. I know you've got people waiting to speak to yourself. Thank you for your time and speak to pro boxing fans as always.
Yes, sir. No problem. Appreciate you.